Elon Musk just became the richest person in the world again on Friday as Tesla stock reached a new 4-month high. There is very clear positive catalyst coming for this name over the next couple of months. Maybe that is why institutional investors are loading the boat on Tesla stock. We'll talk about it here in this video. Could this lead to a short squeeze in Tesla? How would I trade this and what am I looking for? How high could Tesla stock go? Those are things we're going to talk about here in this video. I also want to give you guys a rundown of some of the biggest catalysts that are going to be happening for this market. A lot of them are actually going to be happening in the next 12 to 24 hours. So let's get into it. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you learn anything out of this video, you like my perspective, or hey, just because it's free 99 and it costs you nothing to do it. But most importantly, comment down below. What do you guys think about this information? Leave your opinions. This helps everyone grow their knowledge base. And maybe someone comments something down there that you didn't think of, that changed your thesis on Tesla for better, hopefully, rather than worse. So, first things first, Tesla stock has been ripping. Absolutely ripping. It just hit a 4-month high on Friday, for very clear reasons. Let me give you guys a quick rundown. Number one, interest rates. The markets are expecting the Fed to pause in June. Historically, the Fed cuts rates within about 90 days after that. So if the Fed is pausing in June, means you're probably going to get a cut by September. That's kind of what the markets are already pricing in. This makes vehicles more affordable, and this would affect Tesla and other EV makers or automakers in general very positively. So that's something we can definitively say, like, hey, this is having a positive effect on Tesla stock. It's pricing in good news coming. It makes sense. Now, I think that's mostly what is happening with Tesla. And some of the AI, hopium or hype, whatever you want to call it, is playing a role in Tesla stock as well. And I think there is some merit to be had there. Elon Musk said recently, Tesla is going to see its chat GPT moment by the end of 2023. And that makes you wonder, like, hey, what is that? Is that the release of full self-driving? Are you going to just see a bunch of cars driving themselves around the road, like without error? Well, that would be great. I'm sure that's a very positive thing for Tesla stock. We'll see. We can only speculate what Elon meant there. But I think one thing that is really not priced into the Tesla stock, and if you've watched a couple of my videos now, then you know this, but it's advertising. If you are not in a big city, or you do not know someone that owns a Tesla and you don't know the facts on a Tesla, then you're really oblivious to what Teslas are. In my home state of Michigan, nobody knows what a Tesla is, let alone do they know that on a 20-minute charge, you can get hundreds of miles of range, that those 100 miles of range can last you days, and your risk of getting stranded on the side of the road just isn't realistic. People think that you can't drive a Tesla when it's raining where I live. That shows the lack of knowledge that people have on these vehicles. Now, when I sit here and look at this on a 3D kind of scale, it's a maze that Tesla has gotten to where they are without advertising to the general public. Elon is great advertisement when he comes out and even, does good or bad things, even bad things. All publicity is good publicity. If you guys have seen The Wolf of Wall Street, it's all good. And it's led to Tesla doing well. I mean, Tesla makes like $23 billion in revenue every 3 months. Very large company, very successful. But once they start to advertise, it's going to be a complete game changer. And Elon said that they would try to advertise. If they see a good ROI, return on investment, by advertising, they will continue to advertise. And I think that order book is going to grow exponentially faster than analysts forecast. And that's going to lead to Tesla stock not only going through a short squeeze or seeing people increasingly buying Tesla, but I think that's going to blow you past all-time highs. That's my personal opinion. We'll see what happens. It's going to take a couple months to see how these things are going to pan out. But here in the short term, you're actually seeing institutional investors loading the boat on Tesla stock. If you take a look at Fintel, look at some of these numbers. So from the last reported filing, Elon Musk, and this is for a comparison here, Elon Musk previously owned 716 million shares of Tesla. He now owns 715 million shares of Tesla. Sold about 1 million shares. That's living life, right? That's not like bearish by any means. Look at Vanguard. Vanguard owns 62.5 million shares of Tesla. They increased their position by 249%. They now own 217 million shares of Tesla. BlackRock owned 52.9 million shares of Tesla. Now they own 178 million shares of Tesla. That is an increase of 237%. And basically across the board, I mean, you're seeing increases by almost all of these firms. Very few firms are selling a large stake in Tesla. And if they are, I mean, that's pretty questionable given some of the tailwind factors that we're going to have over the next couple of months, like interest rates falling alone. That's going to be a very positive for Tesla's business. So I think this is a very good thing. Now, if you look at an actual chart here, this is showing you the amount of shares institutional investors own in Tesla. And really, as of January or the end of December, but really January of 2023, you've seen a lot of new investments in Tesla. And this is, my opinion, probably due to a lot of rebalancing, part and part, and people kind of seeing the end of the rate tightening cycle. You were at all-time highs for institutional ownership of Tesla, and that tends to be a pretty positive thing. That tends to lead stocks to go higher, and I think this is really just the start. Now, something interesting happened on Friday as well that I want to talk about here briefly. The data that came out. It was a weird one. So it really supports the Fed pause. That's kind of what the markets took out of it. It's the unemployment rate for May. It went up to 3.7%. It was at 3.4%. You were expecting it to tick up to 3.5%. Huge beat there. I mean, it's very strange because the non-farm payrolls came in at 339,000. You were expecting 190,000. So how did you add so many more jobs than expectations, but the unemployment rate went up by 1/3%? And worker productivity actually stayed flat. The data really doesn't make sense. But markets took it positively and sent Tesla stock to a new 4-month high. Something very bullish as well happened on Friday. If you are a bull in this market and you want to see stocks continue to do well, you have seen what could be the first break of market breadth. Now, the market breadth during this whole rally has been terrible. It's been 5 to 7 stocks that have really carried the indexes here, where the indexes have been going higher because of these 5 to 7 names. The average stock has been declining. You actually seen a very nice move up in the breadth of this market on Friday. So more stocks participating, less of your big tech actually carrying the market. So this was very indicative of maybe a bottoming process in a lot of names that ultimately could lead a lot of stocks to go higher. Now, I'm not bullish on Apple. I'm not bullish on Microsoft. I'm not Google. I'm not bullish on Google, Amazon, Nvidia, stocks that are already close to their all-time highs, that have already done very well. I'm not going to buy Nvidia where it's well past its all-time highs. Even if it is the future, I'm not bullish on those names. not even close to the same degree as Tesla. Tesla still has a double from here to get back to its all-time high. So, I mean, it could go a lot higher than even that all-time high. And that's specifically why I'm so bullish on Tesla right now. But in terms of short squeeze, now, I know some people might not fully understand this, but a short squeeze doesn't always have to do with the short interest of free float, the percentage. A lot of people, if you've been in the markets for the last couple of years now since COVID, you've seen quite a few short squeezes. And a lot of them happen with stocks that are 20, 30, 40, 50% short, hell, sometimes 100% short. Well, Tesla's obviously not that because it's got a strong fundamental business. But the estimated short interest of free float is at a 3-month high, sitting at almost 4%. You have $21 billion that is sold short in Tesla stock. So, I mean, even if you get a couple billion covering, I mean, that's going to be a very positive for Tesla stock. If you get 5 or 10 billion that cover, that's going to be even better. Now, to what degree that happens, I think it depends on how the markets kind of trade, how the markets start to kind of price in Fed policy. If people are expecting rates to fall sooner rather than later, you're probably going to get more shorts covering sooner rather than later that will drive Tesla's share price higher. Now, also in the option activity, you've seen very bullish option activity with Tesla as of recently, and over the past week, you've seen about 2,400 orders in Tesla worth $4.74 billion with a positive order value of 57%. For the option expiration of June 16th, the next big really option expiration for this whole market, you're seeing a volume of 64.5% calls, 34.5% puts. You're seeing people actively positioning for a move higher in Tesla, and a lot of people are targeting in between that 230 strike and the 250 strike, which is decently out of the money currently with Tesla. So you do have a lot of positive things going for us right now. Now, some of the biggest catalysts that you got to watch in the broad markets really over the next 12 to 24 hours is going to be, number one, the Apple conference. They're going to kick off their WWDC on Monday. Now, you're expecting to hear about iOS 17, Apple's VR headset, new Macs, and a bunch of other things. Now, Apple stock has done very well. A lot of the time when you get these dates and catalysts and conferences, the markets will expect a lot out of, an Apple. And if the markets just aren't in alignment with, I guess, what the news ultimately is, right, then the stock can actually fall. Kind of like in a pharmaceutical name or other stocks. The saying, buy the rumor, sell the news. You've seen Apple go higher because investors have been buying the rumor of like a VR headset and other things coming, and it's possible that they sell the news Monday. Now, this is gonna start Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, actually. So it's gonna start at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So pretty much halfway through the day exactly. And why I'm calling out Apple is because Apple is the second largest component of the NASDAQ. Apple is the first largest component of the S&P 500. If Apple does fall, if it does send down the markets, that's probably going to be a negative factor on Tesla. Not to mean Tesla can't rally at the same time or other stocks couldn't rally at the same time. It would be downside pressure, right? So something to watch out for. And then you also have the OPEC Plus meeting, which we should be getting news on here very shortly. And they've basically said that they're going to cut production. We're expecting that. How much do they cut production? They basically said speculators were going to get hurt. That if you were betting on the price of oil falling, if you were shorting oil, you were going to lose money. So I think both of these things specifically are going to be big catalysts. On top of that, the actual economic calendar we have for this week is pretty dry. Let me be honest with you guys. The biggest catalyst for this week so far that I can see here, I believe Fed Powell might be scheduled to speak as well. I'll have to get that exact date and bring that to you guys in another video. But the biggest catalyst so far I can see is 10 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. You're going to get ISM Services PMI. This is a measure of how strong services are. And services has really been the last big domino to fall with inflation. If you do get a strong ISM Services number in which you're expecting to get a strong number, you're expecting 54.5. The last month's reading was 53.4. That's probably not going to be a great sign, right? This probably not going to be a good sign for inflation. If this does fall, well, markets are going to get even frothier, as some people put it in the last video, guys. So that is going to do it here in this video. In terms of a Tesla short squeeze, I still think the next month or two, the next couple of weeks, could happen 2 weeks, Tesla stock's going to reach in between $250 and $350. After 6 to 12 months from now, you're going upwards of $300. My personal opinion. Let me know where you think Tesla is going over the next couple of months here down below in the comment section. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, especially if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.